The Finance and Human Resources meeting is called to order on Wednesday, December 15th, 2021 at 6:03 p.m. Would you call the roll, please?
Alderperson Kastner.
Present.
Alderperson Bailey.
Present.
Alderperson Sarian.
Present.
We also have Alderperson Collins in attendance tonight.
Thank you. Item 2, approval of the October 27th, 2021 Finance and Human Resources Committee meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item 3, discussion and decision regarding renewing the city's 2021 insurance policies, which include liability, auto liability, workers' compensation, property crime, cyber liability, employment practices liability, equipment breakdown, B&M, pollution liability, and storage tanks, and authorize the city clerk and mayor to sign related paperwork. Morgan.
That's not on. We should change that default.
Thank you. For consideration tonight, we have our annual insurance renewals to renew our current policies with our current insurers. So first we have CIVMIC, which is our cities and villages mutual insurance company. And we have liability, auto liability, workers' comp, crime, cyber liability, employment practices liability, equipment breakdown, and pollution liability with CIVMIC. CIVMIC gives the city a premium pricing projection for budgeting purposes in July or August. They give us a premium range, so the 2022 premium range is expected to be between $494,333 and $504,717. So at this time, their brokers have gone out to market for pricing, but not all of the bids are in yet. But they're expected to be coming in within this price range. So since the exact amount is not known, we're recommending to approve that the council or the finance and HR would approve between this price range for this insurance policy package. Then we have MPIC, which is the Municipal Property Insurance Company, and the policy quote came in at $48,257. And MPIC is pointing out that the increasing premium over last year is directly related to the increase in values that were discovered during the HCA appraisal process. So because we're a newer member, they came in and did appraisals, met with various departments, looked at buildings, and so there's roughly an increase of 20% to the buildings, personal property, and property in the open. So due to the large valuation change, they did say that they minimized their own rate increase this year. And then finally, we have storage tanks with Nautilus Insurance Company through Gallagher. And the quote came in at $5,793.75. And that's good news because it is down 50.42% over last year, and that's because we have our new storage tanks in place. In addition to that, they always offer the TRIA coverage or the terrorism risk insurance, and it was not recommended last policy year, so we declined it, and the same is recommended for the 2022 policy year.
I would urge acceptance.
I would too. Make a motion to accept. Second.
Just quickly under discussions. CIVMIC's been very good to work with. I mean, there were some hiccups when we transitioned from the League of Municipalities, but CIVMIC has done some really positive things as far as training goes. We get some kickers for other products that I know HR uses, and so I would strongly recommend continuing with CIVMIC.
Okay, any further discussion?
Is there a second?
Yes.
No, I didn't pay attention.
Yeah. There was a second, right? Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Why doesn't the TV work?
I don't know.
It doesn't even come up on YouTube either. It's blank.
I was actually just texting Tim.
Okay. Because I get an email saying it started and then it's just sound.
So just so we're all clear, I went to cameras the cameras are on. Everything shows that it's on, and nothing is coming. And I've switched cameras,
Something's just,
so,
No,
uh,
our words are more important than our faces, probably.
this is true. So, sorry.
Next item.
Item 4, approve memorandum of understanding between the Milwaukee County Register of Deeds and the City of Greenfield for free Laredo access.
This is a memorandum of understanding that they ask us to sign each year, and it allows certain users in the city to access available information on land records. So our city assessor's office, the finance treasurer's office, and city engineering offices use this software or use this access each year for their jobs.
I'll make a motion to approve.
It's absolutely necessary that we approve this. All the other municipalities are doing as well, so.
Second.
Would point out that the new Register of Deeds, and I can't remember his name, has done an exceptional job pulling that office together. It used to be sort of a mess. There's still a ways to go, but Milwaukee County, is, at least from an information standpoint, is doing a much better job than it had been, so.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 5, discussion and decision to transfer unused 2021 funds from the Community Development Authority account and the Plan Commission account to a project to be used in 2022. Ms. Porter.
Thank you. Last year, we had the same amount of funds, 24,000 of unused funds that this project was created for. This year, again, the 24,000 was not used. The intent is to group this money together to have enough that we can hire a consultant to do a complete rewrite of our city zoning code. The city zoning code was written in 1998, and it definitely needs a major overhaul. So we will use, in consolidation, the 2020 money, 2021, and 2022 money together, which is 72,000 to hire a consultant. I have started drafting an RFP and hope to get that out in the next few weeks, and hope that 72,000 is enough. We'll see what the responses come back with.
So this is one of those things that it takes a number of years to save enough money to do it. So when we do the zoning portion, as you know with land use, and you can probably explain this better than I can, but with every piece of property, there's the comprehensive land use plan, right, which says this is what we think should be there, kind of generically. And then there's the zoning code. The zoning code is based on the SIC codes, the SIC codes, right? Standard.
NAICS, NAICS.
Which is the National I can't remember what the acronym stands for, but there are a bunch of outdated codes that have been around for a very long time. So we get in these situations with zoning where it's hard to tell whether it's a special use, a permitted use, or what kind of use it is, and the codes don't necessarily reflect the current reality of how properties get used, potentially, right? Or what our expectations
Correct.
are. So there's better ways to have a zoning code, and this was one of the first things I think that you brought up when you came here. It's like, we need to fix this.
It's too big to understand. It's
It
way
may
too
work
large.
well for this, like a city of Milwaukee or some large municipality, but it's awfully complicated for what we're doing. We're trying to simplify it and make it more in tune with what people are expecting the zoning to actually do.
Yep.
Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
I would strongly recommend that we do this.
And this is something that other cities do, or?
Well, every municipality should update their zoning code occasionally. Ours has not been updated since 1998.
Which is,
To hire a consultant?
Oh, yeah, it's a major overhaul. I would not even be able to start
I think we need the expertise, especially since we're changing direction so much, too.
expertise, the time.
Yeah.
The city attorney also would have to do a major review if it was, if I was trying to do this myself, a lot of time would need to be spent by him. Consultants frequently rewrite zoning codes for municipalities. I actually have an RFP from Middleton that recently did this, and from Franklin. I'm using those as templates for the RFP, so they also hired consultants to do a rewrite. If you are doing updates here and that, and we do updates here and there, I'm taking an update to the Common Council next week, just little paragraphs here and there. Our zoning code needs to be completely deleted and rewritten.
And you're going to put this out for bids, right?
Yes, the RFP, yes, correct.
Make a motion to approve the transfer.
Yeah,
That's how we're doing?
Just one caution, though, when it comes to RFPs, which, we're required to do, we need to get
Yes.
quotes. Sometimes the cheapest isn't always the best.
Correct.
The level of competence isn't always what you expect. A lot of the folks that respond to these contracts will say, yeah, we'll only charge you, say, $50 an hour of staff time to do it, but it'll take them 10 hours, where some others may charge $75 an hour, but it might take them 5. You want to see what kind of expertise and track record some of these consultants have. Of course, any contract would have to come before you to be reviewed.
They'll give us references. I will contact the other references, the other municipalities that they list that they've done this for. Yep.
So some of the companies that do this kind of stuff, they just want the contract, and they'll be working on your zoning thing, for 5 or 10, being obnoxious, but for a very long time. It'll cost a lot of money. We want to make sure that we hire the right folks to do this.
I'm surprised Middleton's redoing theirs. Theirs is kind of funky to begin with,
Oh,
kind of progressive.
And it's
Sure,
not
yeah.
one of those things that you just, because part of me was thinking, well, let's just wait for Franklin to do, and we'll just copy theirs. It's not that simple.
yeah, every municipality has it's just, we're all built differently, so.
Right. We have a lot more redevelopment, those kinds of things.
Did I make the motion?
Yep. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. Thanks.
So the
Item-
video is not being, apparently there's a video mixer that needs to be rebooted somewhere.
I'm fine.
And that might be because we tested the generators recently. So when we test the generators, the power momentarily goes out.
Well, the last meeting, we didn't have it on.
I think the generators was that 2 weeks ago? 2.5? So that's probably what happened. I don't know, but I'm guessing that's what happened.
Item 6, discussion and
coming
The 6 people
Hmm?
won't be able to see it.
Right. Are there 6 people listening? Sorry.
Item
I think
6,
I'm the only one.
discussion and decision related to contracting with environmental health consultant. Mr. Roush.
Good evening, everyone. Before you tonight is a memorandum of understanding between the Greenfield Health Department and Dan Koroleski, one of our environmental health consultants. We formerly, as recently as 2020, had 2 environmental consultants to do backup work, to do weights and measures work across the city. One of those individuals has recently retired and resigned, so Dan has taken over some of those duties. So what's reflected here tonight is an update of Dan's contract from 3 years ago. Cost and hourly remains the same, and it just adds in and clarifies the roles and responsibilities that Dan will be doing, absorbing the weights and measures piece and also helping out in some other backup inspections as needed. So any questions?
I would strongly recommend the approval of this contract. One thing that he said, and I think this is flowing through almost every single position we have in the city. There isn't a lot of redundancy. A lot of the competence that was out there is retiring and going away. It's not being backfilled with new folks that are getting into these professions. So the fact that we have someone under contract is a very, very good thing. I would strongly recommend approval.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
So the contract with West Allis doesn't change, we just name the person?
This contract is specifically with Dan directly, so he's basically a contract with us. Dan formerly worked in West Allis, retired earlier this summer,
Oh, now I get it.
and is now working 1 day a week in Hales Corners, and has did all of our weights and measures this fall for Jane, because Jane stepped aside, and has also been filling in and doing some catch-up inspections, because as
This
you
is
can
really-
imagine, the pandemic caused us to be a little bit behind on a lot of those things in 21.
So the sticker's gonna say Greenfield?
Yeah, the sticker already says Greenfield on the
Does it?
gas pumps. Yep.
Oh, wow. I gotta buy gas more often.
Okay, anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Item 7, discussion and decision to revise salary schedule for emergency services dispatcher, effective January 3rd, 2022. Chief Johnson.
Never fear, Tim is on his way here, is what I'm told.
Who told you that?
Tim did. So, we've had two dispatchers. One of them resigned early, the other one took a different job with emergency management to work Monday through Friday. On November 22nd, an email job posting came out for a position within City Hall for a clerk's position. That position, the starting salary was $24.10 an hour. Unfortunately, some of the dispatchers and clerks who like to read things that come out from Julie, not unfortunately from Julie, but they like to read things and keep informed, started to talk about the pay difference, as the starting police clerk gets paid $22.44 and the dispatcher's at $24.51. Clerk's position here is no nights, no holidays, no weekends. This past year, not that they weren't thought of before, but our dispatchers went through obviously a very traumatic incident with a shooting of a police officer, along with some other calls. Currently, they're on a rollover across from McDonald's on 76th Street. The problem is right now, I have dispatchers that want to go to different jobs. I have clerks that have said that, why stay here? There's an Amazon posting right here that is at $22 an hour with insurance starting day one with a $3,000 hiring bonus. We have asked them to do more. We've given them additional responsibilities and taken it off the supervisor's hands. I had talked to the mayor probably 3 weeks ago now, maybe 4 weeks ago, and said, hey, listen, this is what we're facing. I have to do my part and advocate for them. The mayor has been behind me. Julie and I had conversations. I think the mayor said, I support it as long as you fund it. We had part-time transcriptionist positions. Unbeknownst to me, that budgeted money was taken and removed. I had no idea that happened because that's the money we were going to originally use to help fund a $1 increase in '22 and a $1 increase for 2023. I was fine. I talked to Tim a few weeks ago, and he said that money's no longer there. It's been eliminated from our budget. So
At the end of the day, so just cutting to the chase.
That's what I'm gonna do now.
At the end of the day, you know, through attrition of other positions, because there are gaps and that this could be funded and it could be paid for, it will be tight. It's always tight.
we have an officer
But
that.
it's one of those situations where we need to do that. I mean, long-term, I'm not sure what the solution is for dispatchers, because I was talking to a couple other mayors in other communities, and they're going through the same kind of thing, right? As it relates to dispatching, right? I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff going on with dispatching right now. I think Milwaukee County wants to get back into the game of dispatching. I think that would be the very worst thing that we could do, is to be under their umbrella. I would prefer to remain independent as far as dispatching goes. There may be a need to work more closely with some of our neighbors if we can be connected by fiber to help things, sort of like an ambulance does, right? If we're out or we're too busy, then somebody else can come and help. I don't know where that's going. That's a long ways away. But until then, we need to make sure that we retain dispatchers and we do everything we can. From the budget standpoint, so the budget is close to $30 million, right? So when you talk about whether a part-time position or transcriptionist is being used or I didn't know. I probably knew, sure you told me, right? This budget was incredibly tough and tight. I think everyone agrees, right? If you're talking about $1 an hour for 6 people, $1 is equivalent about $2,000 a year. 6 people would be about $12,000, something like that, plus or minus.
Well,
And
it's
there's-
more than
and
6.
There's overtime, and there's the pension.
There's 16 if you count clerks and dispatchers.
Right. I was just trying to, I was gonna go 2,000. So you multiply it times $2,000, right? Plus you throw in some benefits. I think it's worth doing. We'll have to figure out how to pay for it, truthfully, in next year's budget. So what happens typically to make up for these kinds of, I don't want to call them transgressions or whatever they are, we delay the hiring of someone, right? We delay the hiring for a month or two. The bottom line for the budget is fine.
Yeah, we have an officer that was slated to retire in February. He has decided to retire as of this Friday. And we did not plan on replacing him until August, when the next recruit class is. We had a spot in January for a new officer recruit, but we gave that up. And we have another officer retiring April 1st. So we wouldn't be able to hire anyone if they're non-certified, that's the way we've gone so far to get those quality people, until August as well. So you're talking 8 months without Officer Thorson's salary and benefits, and another 4 to 5 months without Officer.
We don't have to mention
Yeah.
their names, right?
The other one
So-
coming up. So basically, we have I hate to use the word shell game, but we have come up with a plan to pay for it, as the mayor explained.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it really does, and I wanted to ask that question. Thanks for answering it.
Right.
Amazon job is not easy, though.
And it doesn't have a pension, and it doesn't have I'm just.
No, it doesn't, but I could read the job description if you want.
I know,
No,
but it's not as easy as it
I can
sounds.
assure you that they're not working under the kind of stress that these folks are working under right now. The sheer volume of calls for both police and fire has grown exponentially over the last few years.
Meyer, 84 South, Walmart, coming
Meyer,
to you
84
soon,
South.
Loomis Crossing. Yes, true. Yeah. Those are our 3 highest calls, so.
How are we compared to, some of the neighboring communities as far as our dispatcher pay?
Some are more, some are less. I think Julie looked at some of that, depending.
We're right there and, where we should be?
This doesn't make us the top paying dispatch, huh?
Yeah, we're right there. It's kind of hard sometimes to do comparables, but it seems like the pay is right where it should be. It goes back to retaining employees, though.
Right, but generally speaking, in my opinion.
We're not-
We should be somewhere near the middle. We don't really want to be
Yeah.
one or the other, but.
So this,
I do
one,
realize, though, that dispatching is a very difficult job.
I'm not gonna say the obvious. It's like so sometimes if you're higher than the middle or you're near, right, that's what you gotta do, that's what you gotta do. I mean, I think the chief
Because
is,
we want to keep the best.
well, we've never been a city that pays the best, but we're not penny pinching, dollar foolish either. And in this situation, when people's lives are at stake, I don't think,
If I may, I think it's important, I think Julie led on to the fact that it's different to dispatch in Sheniqua, Wisconsin, or different to dispatch in East Troy, or some of the other suburbs, Hales Corners and Greendale. You more than welcome to walk in our dispatch center. The fire calls have gone through the roof, and our calls itself between Meyer, Walmart, 76th Street, Best Buy, it's crazy. So the amount and level of calls that they do, and now they also give CPR instructions. We just had the other day, an infant wasn't breathing and choking, and they go right into mode. They give, okay, is he breathing? I hear him crying, he's okay. I mean, it was just to hear them do that and give CPR instructions to an 80-year-old woman who's trying to save her older husband. I mean, to do those things, they didn't used to do that stuff. That was never done. And even the calls, more violent. We used to get on late shift when I work, it was 12 to 15 chases a year. Now it's 12 to 15 chases a week, it seems. Every car that we search or gets in an accident, they have guns on them. So it's not only the cops, it's the dispatchers, even the clerks, the reports they type, the child porn, the molestation reports, technically the gore of accidents in, everyday life, drugs, overdoses, heroin overdoses. We never heard about that when I started in '92, rarely. And now it's an everyday thing. So I guess what I'm saying is that we're Greenfield, and the mayor always says we do things right. We try, and I think we do for the most part. But they do, and I invite you to go in there and listen to see how much they do, even on late shift. It's constant, constant, constant. Yes, they get to go on their computer and, do something every once in a while. It's not 24/7, but they're busy. And I guess that's the point. They may not be the top, but they should be, they deserve more. They really do.
And I agree. So this is the thing. Do you want to work 8 hours, loading boxes in a truck and then go home and everything's cool? Or do you want to spend 8 hours, maybe up to 10 or 12, because somebody may not be coming in and trying to save somebody's life? Or you were talking to me about a recent chase. Everyone kind of tells me if there's stuff that's coming, right? Like there was a chase and we just found a guy and they had 3 guns and
Three guys, one fully automatic.
And like all this other stuff, right? That I won't kind of get into right now. But this stuff is becoming very routine. And to recruit and retain the quality people is hard enough. And getting into the retaining part now, where it's getting to be so dramatically different than it used to be, right?
We put a billboard out on Layton Avenue to hire people, because it's hard to get people.
Yeah, I don't think anyone over here is arguing with anyone.
Okay, I just want to make sure that,
It's a very difficult job. They're your lifeline
I agree.
out there.
So I just want
They're
to,
more important
I agree.
than
So did we
gun
take
or
both of these
anything.
at the same time or just one?
They're your lifeline. That radio is
Well,
very, very important.
we just took
The
one,
Dispatcher's
but
gotta
we'll
be on
just
top
take
of
this
it.
one. the first
All right, I'll make a motion. So what do we
second.
start with, item 7?
All those in favor? Yep, this is
To
item,
approve item 7 as
item
presented.
7. Yep. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
So-
Then item,
I think he's already talked about the clerk.
I know,
type.
but
Yeah,
I'm
so
going to
we'll
read
read
it
it and then-
anyway. Item 8, discussion and decision to revise salary schedule for police clerk typist effective January 3rd, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Discussion, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
I just want to say one thing though too, when we were talking about the zoning code before, right, from 1998 or whatever year it was. I mean, some of these job descriptions, when you talk about like a clerk typist, right? For the most part, nobody types letters anymore. We don't file things like we used to. It requires a much more robust level of skills to do these kinds of things. Most of it's all on the computer. Most of it's all with databases, right? There's a ton more going on than there used to be. The administrative assistants that are in City Hall, they have confidential kind of backgrounds that are required now. They too have a higher level. The administrative assistant in the clerk's office, and I know, we lose police clerks that come here because they can be paid more. They do require a higher level of training in the clerk's office with elections and all those other things, right? So it's not, but these folks aren't like clerk typists like they used to
We're
be.
saving a ton of money on carbon paper, though.
We're saving a ton of money on carbon paper. I was talking to an attorney today. When I was a lawyer, when I first started out, literally, I would dictate on a dictaphone, a little tape recorder, give it to the secretary. She would type out a letter, right? She would give me back the letter. I would circle things and make things, right? Give that back to her. She would type it up again. Hopefully, there was no spelling mistakes, right? Then I would sign that letter. She would make a yellow copy that went in the file. She'd make another copy that was CC'd to everybody, right? And I just think of how inefficient things were. But today, things are hyper efficient. It takes an incredible amount of skill and expertise to navigate through all the things that they have to navigate through. It's not just being a typist. Typing is probably one of the least, right? Or putting things in files is probably not. There's a lot.
Non-files, they type a lot.
But you know,
There's 4 clerks, we have 4 clerks, every single one of them loves to type. I don't know how you get there, but they all love to type.
Yeah, but it's not like typing letters on a selectric and, you know, with the auto erase where you can hold it up to the light to see what the correction was, you know?
Right, okay. Anything else?
Yeah, we're happy to report that Tim and Paula, we're all happy the gas pumps are back up and we don't have to make emergency payments. So, thank you.
Item 9, discussion and decision to approve revised accountant job description in the Finance Department and new pay scale for 2022. Ms. Schaefer?
Thank you. I apologize for not having this done before the budget to be able to get this change in the budget. Before you, you have the new job description for the accountant. It is in a new format, and it better reflects what the position is doing now. The last time it was revised was in 2016. I apologize for not having this done.
So you're being broadcast to 8 billion people. That was Carl listening to.
I heard Carl. That's why I stopped. So I am proposing a new wage scale for this position, which would be bringing up the position. Julie, did you calculate a dollar amount that we were looking at? I believe it might be an increase of about 4,000 per year, and we will be absorbing that within our department through reducing some of the other costs in our department.
So this is another situation where the accountant clerks and the accountant, we're using names and job descriptions that might have been good in the 70s and 80s and 90s, but right now the folks that do the accounting work and the folks that work even at the desk when you walk in, right? Those folks, they're not just answering phone calls, and they're actually involved in the accounting function of the office. So this job description and the others that were in the budget, I believe they were, right? The other two.
Yes.
This one is a reflection for the folks that do payroll, and she has a higher level of skill than the other two do. Thank you, Tim. It looks like I see something up there.
Oh, wow.
So how do we turn these
It
monitors?
just went off.
Did the monitors go on?
It was on.
Oh, it was?
There we go.
Okay.
Okay. So how do we get the monitors on? I'm sorry for doing this. How do we get
Oh,
these?
ours.
Because usually, can you get those on
That's
the
not the same.
Okay, all right, I just want to make sure. For planning, those PowerPoints go through? Right, okay. Thank you.
It took so long, it was an accident on 6th Street.
I heard that rollover or something.
Okay, Paula, are you finished?
The discrepancy will be absorbed within the budget of the department. It's not any new money. But we haven't, I'm reluctant to amend the budget that we've just passed, which would require for $4,000.
Supermajority, but
It would require, well, it's notice, you have to notice an amended budget and all that stuff. This is one of those things that we fixed at the end that didn't get incorporated, essentially.
why is this different than the last one?
This one's different because the job description's changing and the pay scale is changing. The last one had the pay scale changing and it'll be absorbed, but the job description itself didn't change.
And I just want to mention that the job description had changed about 4 or 5 months ago. It was brought.
This one did change?
The dispatcher, yeah, we brought those forward earlier this year.
Okay.
For purposes of
But at the
posting.
time, we didn't change.
But at the time, we didn't change the
We're going to be changing
pay
job
rate.
descriptions all throughout the years, throughout this year, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Yeah, so we're trying to, so a lot of the stuff, and this is a testament to Julie, truthfully, a lot of the job descriptions, a lot of the pay rate, all that stuff, it's sort of like the zoning code, right? Where every time one of the positions comes up, then it's like we're changing the zoning for that person, right? We're changing the job description. The same thing is kind of happening, I think, with some of the pay scales as well. So, yeah, unless we want to hire an accountant to do, for 70,000. we could hire Baker Tilly if they're still around, or Virtual Cross to come in and do a salary study for every position and look at every single job description. It would probably be $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, right? Tim's shaking his head, having worked there previously. So the way that we are doing it is every position.
No, we're
So, you know,
we're
but-
overcomplicating this.
We
I'll make a-
are, but I
proof.
see an older person going, well, why didn't you do this before the budget? Well, it's because we didn't get to it before the budget, because we were working on a ton of other stuff before the budget. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, generally, I mean, that's, so. It has no impact.
I still made a motion.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Item 10, discussion and decision to approve contract between the municipal court and, this doesn't,
It's it's the company.
It's correct.
It's called N-Court.
oh, and end court. Thank you.
So Carol couldn't be here. Didn't know about this when you did. You said that you talked to her a little bit or not? A little bit.
So my recommendation for Carol was to make sure that the contract was reviewed and approved by Brian. It was, and I also requested for Carol to send a follow-up email to Alders, just outlining what this is regarding. She, I believe she sent that email.
She did.
She didn't copy me.
didn't get it.
So I didn't get.
I didn't get it either, right?
Oh, yeah, I didn't get it. So I don't know necessarily what this is regarding.
Yeah. she
There's,
sent it.
yeah, it seems straightforward, and I'd make a motion to approve.
Yeah, second.
I'll forward the email to you, Mike.
Yeah, thanks. I
Discussion?
didn't see it, so I didn't know about it.
And to Julie, too, I guess.
It's a separate branch of government, right?
I think the judge reviewed it as well.
Yeah. So the judge reviewed it, but it's not his role to review it.
I know, but it's
Brian's role.
more eyes.
Right.
Interesting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item 11, discussion and decision to approve an addendum to the United Healthcare Flexible Spending Account, FSA, to increase the plan to the IRS maximum contribution and carryover limits automatically, and authorize mayor to sign plan addendum. Ms. Foley.
So, thank you. So really what this is regarding, specific to our FSA plan, currently within our plan document, it specifies a dollar amount for our maximum contributions and our maximum carryover limits. And so when the IRS makes a change to those limits and they increase them, what we end up having to do is a plan amendment or addendum and bring it forward to the committees, ask permission to increase those, and then request for the approval to get it signed. What I'm proposing is to change that plan language that's built within the overall plan document to read more along the lines that we will automatically increase these limits based on the IRS limits. So, for instance, IRS just increased these limits for maximum contributions and carryovers about a month ago during the middle of open enrollment, nonetheless. And we need to have that plan addendum completed in order to have those increases take effect. Whereas if I have the wording within the plan document revised to just say the plan automatically increases to the allowable IRS limits, I don't have to keep coming back and having addendum after addendum signed. So that's what I'm requesting to have done.
This doesn't cost us anything. These are all
doesn't-
employee, these are flex
it's-
payments.
right.
That they make, right?
There's no financial impact. This is specific to a benefit for the employees and allowing them to take full advantage of the FSA plan.
So every time the IRS says you can contribute more, you don't have to come here to say, can we amend it to do that? It just does it automatically.
And we would actually probably okay it no matter what anyhow, so.
You probably would.
I would hope so. That
Yeah,
would be
there's no
always
reason
my
not to.
recommendation.
Make a motion to approve that language.
Thank
Second.
you.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item 12, approval of schedules of disbursements in the amount of $1,238,518.54.
I'll make a motion to approve the schedule of disbursements.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item 13, approval of mileage reimbursements in the amount of $799.28.
I'll make a motion to approve the mileage disbursements in that amount.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item 14, committee to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute Section 19.851CE to consider the following: A, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, wages, insurance, or investing of public funds. B, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Alderperson Kastner?
Yes, aye.
Alderperson Bailey?
Aye.
Alderperson Sarian?
Aye. Committee to go into closed session at 6:45 PM.